love for God, passion for saving humanity, and a strong will for establishing ideal peace on earth and in heaven. True parents' love, wisdom, and thoughts are expressed most prominently through his words.
이 말씀이, 아버님 말씀이 정리정돈이 안 되면은 미래에 혼돈이 올 것 같아요. 그래서 이거 정리하는 게 시급하다고 봐서 본격적으로 이거를 후대 사람이 봐도 평가할 수 없는 원리 원칙, 뿌리는 하나요, 줄기도 하나요, 열매도 하나인 영구적인 영원한 말씀으로 남겨져야 돼요.
Right after True Father's ascension, True Mother asked us to compile True Father's words for building the tradition of the unification movement rightly, in order to guide the Blessed Family's faith. True parents have achieved many victories. However, our most primary duty is maintaining the original speeches and complete the textbook for establishing ideal blessing. If there is a king who made the kingdom great and know the world and the principle. True Father's sermons are like treasures. Father continues to read them. I have to organize these words before my death. If there are some mistakes, they have to be corrected. Gyeong, the textbook and teaching material of Cheon. We need to expedite the process to compile True Father's original speeches and to record the original speech contents with improved accuracy and external quality. Gyeong was first published in 2003. Gyeong is organized into 16 chapters with 82 sections and 2,424 pages, which is quite extensive. Back in the earlier days, there were neither compilation committees nor headquarters committees, and Sanghwa-sa, to confirm the content in context. Also, the book was published by an individual printing company, so there are some areas for compromise. Also, the speech from the year 2000 was not included. Due to these reasons, based on True Parents' decision, the Gyeong Compilation Committee held its first meeting to start the process on August 9, 2012, by the heavenly calendar.
이 시대에 와서 살아계시면서 말씀하신 그 주님의 말씀을 우리가 편찬하는 것이에요. 그리고 그것도 막대한 양에 있는 것을 우리가 줄여서 독자들이 쉽게 이해할 수 있도록, 쉽게 볼 수 있도록 하기 위해 이런 책을 만드는 것입니다.
True Mother appointed President Kim Young-hee as the chairman of the compilation committee, President Lee Jae-suk, President Suk Jun-ho, and President Kim Hyo-yul as vice chairman. Over 20 members, including theology professors, started to edit and publish the Gyeong. The revision project is divided into 5 sections. First, planning process for dividing the chapters. Second, search the contents based on themes. Third, compiling stage where revision of context, external and internal design take place. Finally, 4th and 5th stages for proofreading, for duplication or errors for filtering. The current Gyeong was compiled by 14 published books, both Sanghwa-sa, Korean publication, and Kogen-sha in Japan. Here the sections of A Life of True Filial Piety and The Life of an Owner of Cheon were include 2 additional chapters, which will sum up to a total of 16 chapters. Due to these changes, there are some overlaps or similarities within the themes and chapters. Therefore, it is allowed to have repetitions in the context. In Gyeong, there are words that are repeated as many as 5 times. According to Kim Jin-chun, chairman of Cheongshim Theology University, There are repetitive sections which cover 14% of the entire Cheon. Also, about 20% state similar messages. Especially looking at the chapters, including spiritual world parts, there are similar chapters which sum up to 50%. Due to these reasons, there were many repetitions throughout the book. The compilation committee first identified themes based on faith and completion of the blessing, which will reclassify into 13 chapters. The first chapter is about the true God. The second chapter is on true parents, and the third chapter is on true love. The remaining 8 chapters were combined 2 to 3 similar chapters. Peace thought, peace message, and prayers of true parents were newly created. Like the Psalms in the Bible, prayer, like breathing in heaven, will guide us more spiritually. "615 books, approximately 20,000 pages, 130 million letters. For 6 months of working and praying night and day, the compilation committee tried to find the treasures throughout this vast book of speeches. Through repetitious reading, the special words were found. The titles of the chapters were aligned by paragraph. The order was changed several times. Like mining for gold or polishing rocks into jewel. Even if their vision dimmed and their neck stiffened, they concentrated and spent nights to select 7,000 paragraphs. They were devoted to their work completely. There were some mistakes in the 2006 version of Cheon. Let us look at page 384 and 385 in Cheon. In those pages, there are incorrect sources in 11 out of 17 paragraphs. Incorrect sources erode the book's credibility. The compilation committee had been putting a lot of effort in focusing into weeding out the repetitive portions and eliminating incorrect sources. When sources were found to be incorrect, they were cross-referenced with the original sermons of the Reverend Sun Myung Moon for identification and correction of source errors. There is one standard for compiling within the compilation committee. It is to maintain true parents' original words. Up until now, many errors were found in the chapters of the book. First, there was some misleading context. In Cheon, True Parents section, it states like this: Chinese characters were used, which made it difficult to understand. Second, some sections were created incorrectly. On page 384 in Cheon, a 1997 speech from Belvedere in the United States was found. This paragraph was referred from God's Will and the World. However, the speech cannot be found in volume 95 of the Sermons of the Reverend Sun Myung Moon. The editor inserted the sentence. The book, God's Will and the World, is compiled from the speeches True Father gave in the United States, Japan, France, and many other countries. Some of True Father's messages were published in different countries and translated into Korean. The compilation committee found these sentences through the review process. The compilation committee was rewarded for their performance in this process. The structure of the book was designed and scripted depicting true parents' words as the scripture. Scripture needs to be easy to use and comfortable to carry around. For these reasons, the compilation committee has tried to capture the essence of each chapter. We have organized the context layout and the outline to be appropriate for the Cheon. The outline is as follows. By inserting paragraph numbers, Cheon will be easy to research and use. Each source will be inserted in a supplement. By curving the edge of each chapter, readers can look up the text without referring to the table of contents. By using a high-quality opaque cover, the weight of the book is much lighter, about 1.2 kilograms, and the thickness has decreased. Several points need to be considered in workshops and meetings. Does the theme coincide with the speech? Is each paragraph clear? Are the paragraphs flowing naturally? The compilation committee considered these points during in-depth discussions. The last set of jobs started on October 20th, 2012 by the Heavenly Calendar. The compilation committee members took turns repeatedly reading the whole book 7 times in order to check and recompile again and again. In order to make the Gyeong perfect, the compilation committee appointed more than 100 senior members, leaders, and pastors. Appointees judged whether the title was appropriate. Message was clear. The flow within the paragraphs. The final step is to avoid errors by catching them. After the Step 4 process, the revised version is handed over to the verification committee. The verification process is carried out by 2 teams of 4 members, centering on the chairman and vice chairman. Each team reads the book from cover to cover in order to finalize the process. With all these efforts, a revised edition of the Gyeong has finally been created. 13 chapters, the Prayer of True Parents, 65 sections, 206 subsections, and 5,169 terms total up to 1,648 pages. True Parents speech after year 2000 was added. Gyeong was published the same time as Gyeong. 182 speeches were selected among 340 speeches True Parents addressed since 1970. Gyeong was published covering 10 subjects, including the fundamental principle of true peace and God's homeland and peace kingdom. Gyeong is fully covered by the peace thought and sacrificial life of true parents. This is the scripture that guides all humankind to the eternal truth together with Gyeong. Both scriptures contains all contents of 8 great textbooks and teaching materials of true parents. Beside the sermons of the Reverend Sun Myung Moon, Divine Principle, and World Scriptures. The speech after year 2000 was added, and the Lord of the Second Advent, True Parents, the life of the King of Peace, are described in greater depth and detail. If you follow the love, life, and lineage of true parents, you may feel the true thankfulness rising from your heart and cannot stop shedding tears. God's freedom, salvation of humankind, and the creation of the heavenly kingdom. The Holy Scripture contains true parents' greatest will and truth. Gyeong is the eternal textbook and teaching material for humankind. Combining the unification spirits, devotion, and wisdom of spiritual and physical world, the revised edition of and Gyeong will be presented on Foundation Day.